Sometimes the student finds him or herself in front of translating uh, passages, mainly if they took from articles or books which are not written in English. So the student is obliged to translate the quotes into English, the target language. So in this case, how do I format quotations taken from books, articles written in foreign language? So this question is both in APA and in MLA, and I want you to search on how to format quotations from books and articles written in foreign language in APA style, and I'm going to explain how to do that in MLA style. So when you want to quote a source from a language that is different from the language you are writing in, you have to the choice of presenting 2 points. So your own translation of the quotation without the foreign language, or you include them both. So either choice is acceptable. You might choose to present both languages if you want to draw attention to how something was said in the foreign language. That is to say, for example, if you are conducting a linguistic analysis or qualitative study, especially if you expect your readers to be multilingual or bilingual, otherwise presenting just the translation is fine. If you want to present a quotation in both a foreign language and in translation, place the foreign language quotation in quotation marks. So as you can see here, I'm placing what? I'm placing the translated version in quotation marks. As you can see here, so this is the original text, and this is the translated passage. So the translated passage is between parentheses. He concerns, so this is in French, there is a mistake in French, so the inverted commas in English. You finish here the quote with a full stop. Then what? You put the quotation mark, you open your parentheses, and you quote the translated passage in English. You put a full stop, then you close the quotation marks, you put semicolon, then you insert what? You insert the page number, as you can see here. And here, in case when you are translating here, of course, it is your own translation. So this is if it is less than 40 words long, and in a block quotation without quotation marks, if it is more than, of course, 40 words. So when it is more than 40 words, you are not obliged to put the quotation mark. So this is in APA, and in MLA we know that you have to count lines in both the original language and the target language. So after the foreign language quotation, what? Place the English translation of the quotation in square brackets or in parentheses. Then add the citation for the quotation, and this is the citation, okay? So this is the citation. It means that you add just the page number in here since it is MLA. Using more than one source. In this case, sometimes here you are writing a paragraph and you find more authors who share the same, more than one author sharing the same idea. In this case, how can I insert them within my paragraph? So when you are using more than one source, you need to repeat the author's name in the context of each quotation or paraphrases to help your reader know which text you are referring to. Of course, as I told you in last sessions, here the ideas. You should place each author in front of his idea, okay? And in case when they are sharing the same idea, we have seen that you put here the authors following alphabetical order. Alphabetical order depending on their surnames, and you here, of course, you separate these authors with semicolons. So this is one quoting, one paraphrasing. In MLA, you keep the page number. When you are summarizing, of course, you put the page number, and using parenthetical or narrative citations depend on here the focus. Either you are focusing on the author or on the information. It means that author prominent or information prominent. Now we move on to in-text citation from print sources with known author. As you can see here, here in this case we haven't the author. So in case there is no author, you put what the title of the article from where you have taken the information, and you put the title of the article between inverted commas. What is missing here is the page number. In-text citation for print source with no known author. So as you can see here, so this is how to list it in MLA. So we've got impact of global warming. What is missing the page number, and I took this from a source, through the source, and I keep it as it is since I took it from the source. So here, as you can see here, it is the impact of global warming in North America. So you are not obliged to take all the title in your in-text, just the first words from the title, okay? And of course you put the in your list, you put here the date, and you put the website, which you can even add retrieved from, and the date of your access. Author page citation for classical literary works with multiple editions. So as you can see here, sometimes you haven't page number in some books. In this case, what should I do if there is no page number? And in case there is page number, as you can see here, Marx and Engels describe human history as marked by class struggles. So there is page number, but I should also add, in case you've got chapters. It is not like in MLA, in APA, sorry. So in MLA, since here this is a chapter in an edited book, you are obliged to add the number of the chapter. Is it chapter 1? Is it chapter 2? Or 3, and so on, okay? And you have to separate the page number from the chapter number by a semicolon, as you can see. So the main difference between MLA and APA: in MLA, you are not obliged to add page, the chapter number, just the page number and the author's names. And in your list of references, you are going to list it and to show where is here the editor of the book, and where is the author's name, or the author who wrote the chapter. But in MLA, you are obliged to add more information concerning the chapter. Which chapter? Is it chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on. Author page citation for works in an anthology, periodical, or collection, as you can see here. So we keep the same, just the author's name with the page number. But you should what? You should mention the title. The title, it should be mentioned between inverted commas. Citing authors with the same last name. Sometimes you are working with authors who have the same name, the same family name. So in this case, how can I cite two or three authors with the same family name? This question is also asked about how to list them in APA style, and I want you to answer that through emails. So how can we list authors with the same family name in APA? I'm going to explain how to list that in MLA. You are going to answer me through my email on how to list it in APA style. So as you can see here, we've got Miller, his first name, starting with the R, and we've got second Miller, whose first name starts with what? Starts with A. Okay? So in this case, to make a distinction between these authors, since here there is no page number, there is no date of publication, you are obliged to add what? The first initial letter from his first name. Okay? So initial letter, then full stop, then his family name, then the page number. So I want you to search how to do that in MLA, in APA, sorry, but in MLA it is apparent here. You should mention the first letters from their first names. Citing work by multiple authors. So it is easy to cite, whether you are citing parenthetically or using narrative citation. So in MLA, there is no ampersand, that symbol of ampersand, and here I know that you know what is meant by ampersand. In MLA, there is no ampersand, we use the connector and when in both, whether you are citing narratively or parenthetically. Okay. We have talked in last session about the use of all in your MLA guidelines, and we have said that when you've got the three authors, you can list the first family name of the first author with the addition of all, but in APA it is not. Here, if here it exceeds 5 names, you use all at first mention of the authors. Okay, whereas in MLA, use them whether you are using they are 3 or 4 or 5. So at the first mention you use all, but in APA use all for the first mention when they are more than 5. When they are 3 authors, you should mention the 3 authors' names for the first mention. For the second mention, you replace the second and third authors' names with all. Okay, as you can see here. But when it comes to your list of references, here I want you to check if it is correct or not. In here, I took this from Purdue, and I want you to check, is it possible to use all in the list of references? Or should I write all the authors' names in MLA? I want you to answer this question. Citing multiple works by the same author. Sometimes you've got the same author and you took from these 2 or 3 articles which are published within the same year, or it means that it is the same author. So the same author, because here we are not working with date of publication, we are obliged to add the title of the work to distinguish from which work I have taken the information. Okay. But in MLA, in APA, it is not. You should, of course, here the date of publication makes a difference. If the date of publication is different, it means that, for example, I took from his article of 1990, then I took from his article of 1999. So here it is apparent to me that these details are taken from 1990 and these details are taken from 1999. But in MLA, I can't distinguish because I haven't date of publication. So I am obliged to add what? To add the first words from the title of each work. Concerning when it is, we've got many publications within the same date of publication. It means, for example, I took from 1999 3 articles of an author in MLA, in APA. So here I'm obliged to list these references using alphabetical order. It means that 1999A, 1999B, and so on, 1999C, and so on. Okay, but in MLA is just the first words from the titles of these works.